Snow, ice, winter. For some, these things represent a desire for warmth, to get somewhere cozy with a fire and a book. For others, winter means fun, and snow means freedom. For a recreational snowmobiler, nothing says fun and freedom like 3 feet of fresh powder and the afternoon sky bearing down on you. So long as you have snow, a snowmobile can travel any path you choose. Oftentimes, these paths include the groomed trails that litter the entirety of our province. Trails cut through some of the most stunning countryside Manitoba has to offer. Among these trails are those maintained by the Northern Lites Snowmobile Club, the caretakers of over 200 kilometers of trail. But there is a problem. A threat on the horizon to every trail and every snowmobile club across Manitoba. And unless it is dealt with soon, all trails may cease to exist.
Hi, my name is Jason Thibodeau. I'm a full-time truck driver and hobby farmer. I'm 50 years old. I've been part of the Snowmobile Club for 20 plus years.
Okay, I'm Robert Nolkin, and I farm during the day, and I am the president of Northern Lites Snowmobile Club.
I'm Wayne McMillan. I'm 61 years old, and I own my own feedlot business, cleaning, and I'm from Marquette, Manitoba.
Would you consider yourself an avid snowmobile rider?
We are an average snowmobile rider. Yep, all 4 of us in the family.
The last few years I've definitely not snowmobiled as much as I would like. And now I have a few young children, so I'll probably focus more on some more family-friendly rides, more local, I guess.
Would you consider yourself an avid snowmobile rider?
Yes, I am.
The Northern Lites Club is a volunteer group based out of the community of Woodlands. Like all snowmobile clubs, they spend the majority of the winter months working to maintain the network of groomed trails within the local area. And there's a wide variety of tasks that go towards meeting that goal.
I operate the groomer and do all the repairs on the groomer.
My area of the Snowmobile Club, I do a lot of the wood cutting to prepare. We've got 1, 2, 3 cabins that we haul wood to every year, which requires a lot of prep time and going to the bush, cutting the wood and getting the split and hauled into the cabins and filling up our wood stocks for the year. Fall time comes, cabins have been neglected all summer, so then they have to be cleaned up and see what needs to be done, whether it's firewood or bathrooms cleaned or repairs done on the doors if they've been vandalized throughout the summer.
Yeah, I think I probably talk directly to Snowman the most, and then some of the stuff I pass off to the other members or executive. Like if there's financial questions or things to do, I pass that off to Nora, or grooming related, Wayne looks after most of that. So we have a few very dedicated people to the club that look after more of that important administrative stuff.
The 2 most important jobs for trail maintenance include trail signing and keeping the trails groomed. Both of these tasks require volunteer assistance in some form or another. Signing the trail requires hundreds of signs to be carefully placed throughout the 219-kilometer range covered by the club.
We all help with signing, getting the trail put in and put out, and signs taken in, distributed, set up, and pulled back out in the springtime.
And we got all the signs in a sea can, and I forget how many signs. There's a pile of signs in the sea can, and we go out every year. There's probably over 1,000 and some signs we put up every year.
And that's you and all the other volunteers?
That's right, yeah.
There's some stuff that you maybe don't see if you're just driving down the trail. There's a fair bit of sign maintenance, like some signs break over the year if they get stuck in ice or something, or get run over. So in the off season there's some repair on that.
the sign's got to be put up in a certain place, and you got to follow directions with that. So you just can't slap them up, and that's good. There's a way to do that, eh?
While operating the groomer requires special training all of its own.
It's about roughly 10 hours to do the North Loop.
That's 10 hours of just bouncing around.
Bouncing around, yeah, and going at probably about 13 kilometers an hour. The most important thing is safety and operating the groomer so you're not abusing it. It takes a lot of training to run a groomer so well. Like, it's not hard to drive it, but don't know how to use the blade, then it can get very difficult because, just the way you gotta operate the groomer to make the trail level and everything. And it's safety too. Like, if you're going reckless on it, then things break and then it costs more to fix it, eh? So you gotta keep an eye on the skid. If you're building up too much snow in the drag, then it's not flowing through the drag easy enough. So you gotta lift the drag and make sure the drag is flowing through, the snow's flowing through. There's quite a bit keeping the groomer up in proper condition. Every week it needs repairs and that, eh? Always doing some fixing on it.
The club utilizes all kinds of technology and equipment to maintain the trails, including the groomer and the industrial brush trimmer used for clearing the trail during the summer. Most of this equipment is provided by the grants that the club earns from the Snowman organization, allowing the club to repair the old equipment and invest in new equipment. Despite all the work the Northern Lites Club does for snowmobiling in its community, there is a threat that snowmobile clubs across the province are facing in recent years. The number of volunteers are dropping rapidly, and few, if none at all, are joining to help. To combat this, the club has been expanding its efforts to make joining the club easier. Before, people thinking of volunteering would have to seek out the club or attend meetings to learn more information. But now, new ideas have since been conceived to make the process easier.
There was a small group of us when in our younger days that snowmobiled every weekend together, and we found out about the club when we saw them out signing and putting up the trail and got interested at that point. And that's how we signed up. We went to a meeting and there was 5 of us that signed up that day. So
one of our members has been working a bit to change our website a bit and post some QR codes in our warm-up shack so someone can just scan the code and become a member or donate to our club to help support the maintenance of the cabins.
However, these efforts too have fallen on deaf ears. The question is, why?
During some of those peak demand times for volunteers, like if we want to sign a trail and only 2 people show up, then it takes a long time. Versus if 8 people would show up, it'd be, oh, you do that, I'll do that part, and you're done in real quick.
Get the help, and you're saying, well, why am I doing this for, right? But you're doing it for other people, eh? And a lot of people, they complain about the trail if there's something wrong about the trail, but they don't realize to give you a hand about it. If we give it up, then I don't know who's going to get involved in the club, because every club has got the same problem.
All the clubs?
All the clubs, yeah.
our worst problem is right now, it's the same group of us that's been doing this for several years now and trying to get young people from the community to step up and help to keep this trail going seems to be a really big problem. We're going to be faced with in a few years. Some of our guys are ready to retire and leave the club, and we have no young people in the community stepping up to help. So if things don't change in probably the next 5-10 years, this could cause the club to be shutting down because there will be nobody left to run it.
And with no club, there's no trail?
No club, there's no trail. It's all volunteers. There's not enough money in the club organization to pay for the cost of having a groomer and running the fuel, and there's not enough money to pay somebody to actually do all the jobs that need to be done. It's all volunteer. Without the volunteers, the club does not exist.
If so many people use the trails and so many notice when the quality in trail declines, why is no one trying to help? There are a number of potential answers, ranging from busy personal lives, a lack of free time, or just general disinterest. The result is the same, however. Without any new members to replace the old guard, clubs all over Manitoba are being forced to rely more and more on what members they have left, which places more work onto them, leading to more older members retiring. Thus, a feedback loop is created, a spiral down leading to the club dissolving entirely. Unless a new, younger generation of riders and members of the community are brought into the club, every trail under the club's care will be gone. With no one to groom or sign, people are more likely to get into accidents, trespass without knowing, and overall stop venturing out on snowmobiles with their friends and families. This isn't just a club at risk, it's the safety and security of an established trail that will go with them.
Definitely come out to a few meetings and see what it's about, and you don't have to volunteer for everything. I understand people have busy life and just come out to help when they can or with jobs they can help with.
I get involved, because if you don't get involved, I don't think it's going to be here very long, because us guys, we're all burning out, and if we can't get help, then it's going to the clubs are just going to fold.
It's a little bit of work, but it's a lot of fun. We have a great group of people in our club, and communication as well, and everybody tries to help everybody, whether the groomer needs repairs or the trail needs the signs fixed up after a storm. There's always a group of guys that are willing to get together to help do that. But without that group, these trails aren't going to exist much longer.